In this video, I will discuss about edge trigger flip-flop. Till now, you have learned about normal flip-flop. In normal flip-flop, the flip-flop was operational only during clock value 1. But in this type of flip-flop, that means edge triggering flip-flop, we will use a little different type of clock pulse triggering. So how is it? So before going to edge triggering flip-flop, you need to know what is edge of a clock pulse. You can see this clock pulse. Now these two edge are called positive going edge. That means during positive going edge, the signal is going from low to high or 0 to 1, and these two edge are called negative going edge. In negative going edge, the clock value goes from high to low, that means 1 to 0. So now I think it is clear that what is positive going edge and what is negative going edge. Now in the negative edge triggering flip-flop, we will apply this type of clock. That means in negative or positive edge triggering flip-flop, the flip-flop is operational only during positive going edge or negative going edge. Okay. Now a symbol diagram of a edge trigger flip-flop. In this case, we are taking example of JK flip-flop, but this concept is applicable for all type of flip-flop: D flip-flop, T flip-flop, SR flip-flop. Okay, now let's discuss the symbol diagram. You can see that these are two type of symbol diagram. That is for negative edge triggering flip-flop, and that is for positive edge trigger flip-flop. Now in the negative edge trigger flip-flop, there is a bubble in the clock, and in the positive edge trigger flip-flop, there is no bubble in the clock, and remaining structure is same. Now truth table of edge trigger flip-flop. You already know the truth table of normal JK flip-flop, and here also the truth table is same except the clock column. Before, in the JK flip-flop, in the clock column we have used 1 1 1 1 in this place, but now we are using the negative going arrow. This negative going arrow indicates that this truth table is for negative edge triggered flip-flop. Clear? Now one important note is that by using edge trigger JK flip-flop or SR flip-flop, you can easily remove the race around condition. That is very important advantage of edge triggering flip-flop. Already you know that you can remove the race around condition by using master slave JK flip-flop. That was the first process to remove the race around condition, and now you know that the second process is to use edge triggering flip-flop. It may be positive edge triggering or negative edge triggering to remove the race around condition. Now we will study how the race around condition is removed in edge triggering flip-flop. Already you know that the output, this output is for normal JK flip-flop. That means when the JK flip-flop was triggered by this normal clock, that means only during this one, you know that this race around situation occurs when the clock value is 1. But now we are using this type of clock. Now the flip-flop is not triggered or not operational during this one. Now the flip-flop is operational only during this negative going edge. Okay, so assume the initial value of the output is 0. Okay, so what will happen? during this negative going edge. Again come to the truth table. When we are giving negative going edge and jk value is 1, the output is complement of previous state. That means during negative edge the output will complement of 0. That means it will jump to 1. Now again for this period the flip-flop doesn't operate, because we know that in the negative edge triggering flip-flop the flip-flop is operational only during negative edge. Now again you are getting another negative edge. Now again the flip-flop output will complement it. That means it will jump from 1 to 0, and similarly in this negative edge it will again jump from 0 to 1. That means in this output waveform you can see that there is no race around condition.